So the price of a pint in London has just hit £10 for the first time. That is insane. And the same media that are trying to tell you a £15 minimum wage is unrealistic are failing to mention the fact that food prices have gone up 50% since 2021. 50% in the last 5 years. Whereas if we look at the amount of money supermarkets are making, they're raking it in. This is a cost of greed crisis, not a cost of living crisis. Even at the moment, we're seeing BP double their money, double their profits over the Iranian war, whilst petrol prices are hitting us in the pocket. In the same time, wages have gone up 1%, 2%, which is well below the inflation, and we're being told that we all need to tighten our belts. Billionaire profits is up at the same rate food bank use is going up, and that is not a coincidence. Let's look a little bit more at this. In the UK, the top 10% of richest people own almost half of all UK household wealth. To put that a different way, the top 50 richest families in the UK own as much as the 50%. That's half, the bottom half, the poorest half of UK's income. The top 50 families have as much as they do. This isn't a money crisis, this is a greed crisis. It's easy to find it a little bit misleading when you look at income inequality in the UK. We score a Gini coefficient of about 32-33%, which suggests mild to moderate inequality, which you'd come to expect, and isn't that out of line with other counterparts, even though lots of other countries do a lot better. Now, this would suggest that taxation does its job of helping to reduce inequality. However, when you change that to wealth inequality, not income inequality, the picture looks very, very different, and your Gini coefficient shoots up to somewhere in the 70s, 73-74%. This is the problem in Britain. Those who have seriously have, and those who don't have nothing. And this is what is causing such inequality and such a crisis in the UK at the moment. Now add to that there is also moderate income inequality, and you can see how the situation will just get slowly worse, with those who have having more and those who don't have having less. And that is why the top 10% in the UK own over half of the UK's wealth. This is an issue that needs addressing. So why is this important? Well, this is important because that is exactly why the Green Party and other socialist groups are calling for a wealth tax. They're suggesting that we stop taxing work and start taxing wealth, because that is the real source of inequality in the UK. Now, taxation does many things. It keeps money moving around, puts money back to the treasury. But one of its main roles is to reduce inequality. And it does that on income, but not on assets. And that is why those who have continue to make more and more and more. That is why a wealth tax is desperately needed to help reduce that inequality and help support those who have not, starting to get a little bit of their fair share. This is also why it's really important that when we recognise one of the things we definitely need to do is start to increase wages. There's ways of doing that don't cause inflation. Increasing public sector wages doesn't increase inflation. If we're going to increase the minimum wage, we can still reduce business rates and other things that help small businesses, but it starts people having money to be able to spend. But we also need to reduce the cost of living, because whilst billionaires whacking percentages onto prices every time you go to Tesco's, yes, you're spending because prices are going up, but you're also making billions of pounds for those who own the supermarkets. Whilst profiteering is still allowed, we're going to see the cost of living crisis get worse. And we've got to remember, this is a monopoly. We don't have the opportunity to shop around different markets all the time, going to different towns, looking at different independent sellers. Not in this day and age, not when you're working full time. That's why supermarkets are absolutely ripping us off. And when you look at supermarket profits, they're higher than ever before. They're profiteering out of a cost of living crisis, and this is not okay. So we need to control prices. Another thing we need to control is rents. The exorbitant amount of money being made from landlords at the minute is sickening, it's disgusting, it's profiteering, it's parasitic, and it's wrong. If you look at how rents are increasing, you look how much profits landlords are making, it is not okay. We need to control rents, we need to cap prices, we need to increase wages, and also we need to tax wealth and reduce inequality. So take me, for example, I'm a nurse. NHS pay rises have gone up somewhere between 1, 2, 3 and 5% anywhere over the last decade. Now, in the last 5 years, say that totals 10, 11%. That's a real terms pay cut because it's below inflation, it's below CPI and RPI. RPI includes housings, which is what I think is important because we all use housing, but it's below them both, so it's a real terms pay cut. In that same 5 years, my shopping has gone up 50% because that's what the food prices have gone up. That's not even including the rent increases, mortgage increases and bill increases. We're being taken for a ride, we're being ripped off, and it has to end. Inequality is essentially the difference between the haves and the have-nots. Now in the UK, that difference is huge, and this video is going to talk about what that is, what it looks like, what it means, and what we can do about it. So we've talked about the supermarkets making huge profits, whilst our shopping price has gone up 50% in the past 5 years. Supermarkets have made between them £230 billion in the UK every single year. £230 billion. Try and get your head around that as a figure. It is insane. That is how much money they're making. Why on earth is our weekly shop going up 50%? 21%. Now, according to the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, 21% of the UK population live in poverty. 21%. Now, that is exactly because food prices are going up 50%, rent is going up, but wages aren't. Now, right-wing economists will tell you that it's the greed of poor people that is causing inflation, but that clearly is not the case. Now let's look at housing. Housing prices have gone up 50 to 60% in the last decade. And in that same time, private rentals have gone up 45%. Now this really way outstrips inflation, this way outstrips rises in wages and income. And this is one of the reasons that you are feeling much poorer, whilst those who own property are feeling much, much richer. Now, how do we reduce inequality? Well, let's put it this way. If for 50 years you earn the average income, but you get it all at once. So I'm going to give you 50 years worth of the average income. You still would be nowhere near the top 10% of richest households in the UK. That is how far ahead they already are. They have an unfair advantage. They are starting far richer than you or I could ever be. So then when you put on the rising inequality on top of that, it's only going to get worse and worse. Now, when we look at how the richest are doing, it's a slightly different story. So whilst 21% of the UK's population are living in poverty, the richest 10% have added £3 trillion to their wealth in the last decade. £3 trillion. Try and comprehend that. That is enough money to end poverty worldwide 2 or 3 times over. For 30 years. We could eradicate poverty for 30 years, fund global education for 70 years, build 10 million homes, fund the entire UK government for almost 3 years. And that is just how much wealth the richest 10% of the UK have added in the last decade. That is insane. Now, in fact, if we took that £3 trillion and shared it out amongst everybody in the UK, we'd all get £44,000. £44K would lift every single person out of poverty right now. So we could do that by redistributing not their wealth, but how much their wealth has increased by in the last decade. That is the sheer state of things. Without them hoarding all that money, no one would need to be in poverty in the UK. So for this one, I'm going to end with an old English poem, author unknown. They lock up the man or woman who steal the geese from off the common, but let the lord and lady free who steal the common from the geese.